everyone, so I am here today to do a little reading vlog for you all for a series that is beloved by many and that I have just not got around to reading yet, so what better time than now to finally start the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I have been meaning to read this for ages, I just haven't got around to it, yeah, life happens, you know. So I'm finally gonna get going on this and I thought I'd share it all with you. So yeah, I will get started and let you know my thoughts very soon. Okay, so I have finished volume 1 and I read this in like an hour. I binged this book. Firstly, this book is just a hug. This book was a much needed hug. It's so wholesome, it's so cute. The art style, the expressions, just a little like, just the dialogue, what there is, it's all done so well. But while it's a hug, I feel like it also manages to kind of just highlight some of the aspects of school and kind of like discovering your sexual identity and just that kind of like awkward teenage romance as well, especially with the added complication of being queer. It just, I'm in love with this series so much and I cannot wait to finally read the other 3 and let you know my thoughts. Very solid 5 stars from me. I am shook, I am shooketh. There's so many random words I could use to describe how I'm feeling right now and I don't think you need to hear them all. Okay, so after a nice long wait I finally managed to get the second volume from the library. I had volumes 1, 3 and 4 but volume 2 just took a while to come in, so after I finished volume 1 I just wanted to binge this but I couldn't and I had to wait like a whole like 2 days and my heart could not take it. But yeah, it's finally come in, so I'm gonna start this and let's be realistic, it's not gonna take me very long to get through. So, as predicted, I'm holding the book upside down. I devoured it in one sitting. Oh my god. Like, this one has definitely had a lot more kind of serious topics in than the first one. The first one, as I say, the first one was just a hug with some kind of undertones. This kind of addressed a lot more of the kind of stresses of being gay and coming out. I just want to punch Harry. I thought it was gonna be Ben that was gonna be the one throughout the series. I was gonna be like, oh, but no, Harry. Whoo, he made me mad. But that little scene at the end with Nick and his mum, that literally, I was crying. I was literally like crying. Like, it was just so, oh, it's just so nice. It's such a hug. Another 5-star read. Again, I have no words. It's just so good. So yeah, I will probably take a short break from reading and then get started on volume 3 later today. But again, I don't think this is gonna take me very long to get through either. So I have just finished volume 3 and yeah, I'm still absolutely in love with this series. This one definitely is, well, the whole series in general I feel is just progressively dealing with some more serious topics, but it's still got that really nice, wholesome vibe going through it all the way. And I just feel like it's done in a quite a naturalistic way. It's very, because I find sometimes books have a tendency to kind of like sensationalize some of these things and really dramatize them. But I really like how these things are kind of going on in the background, but they're still very much centered as issues and genuine struggles that these characters are dealing with. Yeah, Oseman has a really, really nice way of weaving these things into the narrative, and honestly, I really need to read some of her books because I'm blown away. Like, I am blown away by her kind of handling of these issues and just of kind of just queer people in general. I love all of kind of the queer background characters. I think it's Tara and Darcy. I keep forgetting, I think it's Darcy. That's really nice. You've also got kind of like a trans character. And I will just say I would like to see some more from them. Maybe not even in Heartstopper, but it would be really nice to kind of have like a spin-off with like kind of it centers more on those people, because like, you know, like they're part of the group and it'd be really nice to see that. And I know that like the Osman verse, there is a lot of overlap between the books. Maybe there already is one. I'm gonna have to have a check, but if not, that'd be really nice, I think. But yeah, of course, this one is a very solid 5 stars again from me. And now, after I get out of my pajamas, because I've just had my nice little morning reading time, probably this afternoon, I'm gonna get going on the 4th and final volume. And I am just gonna say in advance, I know that as soon as I finish this, there is gonna be a hole in my heart. Like, whereas, like, what do I read next? I'm gonna have such a big book hangover from this series. But yeah, there's loads more of Osman's work to check out after this. But for now, let's get going on this one. So I've not finished it yet. I'm about as far through. I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break. Once again, Sarah Nelson is iconic. Parenting goals, that's all I can say. But no, obviously, as I kind of mentioned before, the eating disorder is touched on in volume 3, but it's really kind of come to the forefront in this volume, especially in the second half. And it's really beautifully handled, and it's so nice to see all the support networks, but it is also quite emotionally taxing to read. And so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break for the sake of my feelings and come back to it in a little bit. But yeah, no, it's just... oh. Okay, so I have now finished it, and as I said before, I did struggle with this a little bit, not because it was bad, just because I think I see a lot of myself in Charlie, and some of the things that were depicted in this book kind of hit quite close to home, and I thought they were beautifully done and really beautifully addressed. And I also loved how it didn't just kind of touch on mental health issues, it also kind of touched on the people around having to kind of how they kind of deal with the mental health issues of the other person. I think where to draw the line, basically, because ultimately you can help people and you can be there for people, but at the end of the day you have to protect yourself, and you have to, it's up to the other person to get help. You can't force someone to get help. You can guide them, you can support them, but it's not your job to fix them. You can just guide them on their journey, and I really loved how this did that. It was really, really kind of painful to read. This is definitely one of, I think this whole book in general, like it ended on a kind of more hopeful note, and it still had that hopeful tone going all the way through it, but out of the series, this is probably the one that is definitely the most serious. But yeah, this one is another solid 5 stars. I think it handled everything phenomenally well. And yeah, again, absolutely blown away. But yeah, that is me done. That is, I binged them. I absolutely binged them. I did actually get these from the library, but I'm gonna have to go and buy my own copies because I need this series. Especially kind of like, I mean, I loved all of them, but I think the early volumes especially are something I'm gonna want to come back to when I'm having a bad day and just want to read something to make me happy. The first and second volume I think are definitely going to be like some of my go-to like comfort reads from now on. Volumes 3 and 4, as I said. Volume 3 is still quite fun, got some more serious elements running through it, and then volume 4 is very kind of intense and touches a lot on kind of mental health and eating disorders. I think everything Osman does in this series is phenomenal. All of the characters feel so realistic, so human, and I know so many people have said this, but I really wish I had this when I was a teenager, not just because of the depictions of like queer people, but also just general life. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be able to be there for somebody all the time. So many messages in this book that I think is amazing for so many teenagers and adults too. But obviously it kind of is more centered around that school environment. But one thing I do just want to say regarding the series, and this is not a critique about the series, this is just something just to remember, This is a beautiful depiction of a queer experience, but it is not the queer experience. Every person has something different going on in their lives. Some people don't have supportive families, some people don't have supportive friends, and some people might not have anyone they can come to regarding these issues. This book, it deals with so many struggles, but every character has a support network. And I think it's just really important to remember not everyone has that. So just be kind to people and remember that, you know, everyone has their own experience and all of those experiences are valid. And the other thing I just want to say is, no, from my teenage years and kind of reading the books that I loved, I remember kind of reading them and thinking, I cannot be happy unless I have this exact model of what's being portrayed. This is making me happy, this is what I need in my life. And, you know, it's really important, I think, to have kind of ideas about these things that are going to make you happy. But I think the thing, especially because this is set in a high school, there's no rush. It can take people much longer than Nick and Charlie to find their Nick or Charlie, or, you know, whatever beautiful human they're going for. There's no pressure to be happy, there's no time limit to be happy, there's no need to rush to find your person. It's a hard thing, I think, to come to terms with. I know all through high school I was kind of there and I was like, oh, that's just what I wanted to say. Just because you're graduating school and you don't have your possible love for life doesn't mean you're never gonna find them. Doesn't make you any less valid. Doesn't make you any less queer. Doesn't make you any less of a person in any way. But yeah, as I say, that was not a critique on the series, it's just something I think some people might need to hear. But overall, I can't believe I took so long to read these. I'm so glad I have, and I'm so glad I could share this with you and this little vlog with you. And if you haven't already and you've been meaning to pick it up and procrastinating it for whatever reason, please go read it. I promise you will not regret it. But yeah, that is all from me for now, and I will see you all very soon, hopefully, assuming I don't go AWOL again, with another book-ish video of some kind in some shape or form.